Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Excel tutorial where we are learning how to create fitness and health tracking exploratory data analysis dashboard. In this dashboard you can see we have gender based data like fitness data of 350 people with their diet preferences, with their age group, with their activity type. So if they are doing workout, what is the activity that they have? You can select multiple activities also to compare them. And you can see we have used a background image here where we are putting our numbers here, KPI numbers, and you can see we are following a simple theme. So in this tutorial you will learn how to customize all these background colors, how to customize color of these filters that we have, of these charts that we have here. And one very important thing in this chapter is obviously these all are pivot charts. This is pivot chart, this is a pivot chart, this is a pivot chart, but these scatter charts are not pivot charts. So when we will create a pivot table, how to create a scatter chart from a pivot table? Because if you see the tabs and everything, so if you see here and you insert and try to insert a scatter plot, so you cannot insert a scatter plot directly on a pivot table. For that you have to focus on other values. Here you can see, for example, we have different pivot tables. If I click on this, if I try to insert a scatter chart, so I will not be able to create that. So how to create this dynamic scatter chart also, not just a regular scatter chart. So we have this data, I will explain it to you. We have this pivot table and then with the help of that we will create this dashboard. So let's get started with it. So the data set that we have with us is this CSV file which has user ID, unique record for each user, daily steps that they take, calories burned on that particular day, or this can be average also, then workout duration, hours of sleep they get, activity type, diet preference they have, their gender and their age group, which is given as a categorical value here. So first thing is we will convert this into an Excel file. So first I will just press Ctrl A, Ctrl T for table and say my table has headers, and I will save this file. So I am saving this file as an Excel file. So you can simply say Excel workbook. I will give you this Excel workbook, so you don't have to go with this step. Now you can see this table is created and we will give this table name fitness data or fitness, whatever you want to call it. Now we have this Excel file now. Then we will select our table and we will go to insert and insert a pivot table from table range. So now you can see this table name fitness will be used at that variable which actually has this data, and in a new worksheet we are going to create this pivot table. These pivot tables will help us summarizing the data. You can see here we already created a similar dashboard in Power BI. In Power BI, when we load data set, we can simply select one column, second column, and it creates a graph. For example, if we select age group and calories burned, it creates a graph. Then we can select what type of graph we want. This is how we do in Power BI, but because we are focusing on Excel, so this is our pivot table and we will try to create these things. So in our pivot table, first thing that we have is we have some KPIs. So what is average daily steps, what is average calories burned, these kind of things. So here is pivot name. So this is pivot table 1. So you can also call it calories or whatever you want to call. So for example, I am calling it calories. This will have information of average calories, and here we can create a simple table with our KPIs. For example, if I select daily steps or calories burned, So it is showing sum of calories burned. But when we are doing exploratory analysis, we have to find what is average calories burned by each user. So for that, we will click here. So when we are creating something in a pivot table, we have pivot table fields from where we can select a particular value, and you can drag it to values, rows, columns, or filters. You can do that. So we'll see that. And by default, the aggregate function is sum. We will choose value field settings and select it as average, and we can just rename it as AVG calories burned. This will be sufficient to understand. So now the label is average calories burned, and here are the values which we can verify also. So you can see it is in values. What if I select second value, daily steps? So when it is going in values, you can see a table is being created. Here also I will do the same thing, select average and just select average daily steps. Similarly, we will select hours of sleep. This way you can create your KPIs. Sometimes your KPI will be count, sometimes your KPI will be sum, it will be average. It depends upon what is your target, what is your goal. The average hours of sleep that they have is 6.5. They are taking on an average close to 11,000 steps. 10,000 steps is, most of the people have a goal of taking 10,000 steps to reduce calorie, to reduce weight. So this is what we have now. Now, for example, we want to count how many records are there. So for that we can select user ID, but before that we have another number, another KPI, that is workout duration. Here also we will select value field setting and average. So this way you can create your KPI row, and finally we will click on this. So you have to click on this table, and because I'm not just using calories, I'm calling this pivot table as KPIs. Now average workout duration, and after that I will also select user ID, and this user ID, once selected, you can see it is showing all the row labels. So how to do that? Because it is coming in values, so that's why, and rows, that's why it is now giving us the same table. So there is no benefit of that. We will drag this user ID here also. Now this user ID will also become our parameter or our KPI, and it is showing count of user ID. That is sufficient. Like, we just wanted to show that, and that is this count of members, average, maximum, average. Here we have selected maximum just to show, and in Power BI you can show, you can select a maximum value where we have created this measure. So you don't have to worry about this, because we are just seeing how to do that in Excel. So now in Excel, our KPIs table is created. Next is to add some filters. So I will suggest you to add filters in your first table itself. Then only you will be able to modify your records. Otherwise it will be difficult. So we will insert slicer here. What happens is, when we have a data like this, so in a data like this, we have some numerical continuous columns like daily steps, calories burned. These are all numbers. You can see whole number, decimal number. But we also have categorical values like activity type, diet preference, gender, age group, etc. So here what we are going to do, we are going to use these categorical fields as our filters. So for example, what is activity type, diet preference, gender and age group? These will be our filters. So we will use these filters here, and these filters will be used for our, obviously, for filtering the data. I will just show you. First let me resize their height. So here you can use these filters in this way as a simple select list that we have. So we can also, if you want, you can reduce their width and use two in a row. So for example, we have gender here, but their label should be visible. So we can put activity and this. So I will use this later. So whatever you want, you can put here. So now we have these filters which we are going to use in a full width row. Now if I select female, you can see data is changing. Keto diet changing 18 to 25. So what we are selecting is all female members who are having keto diet preference of age group 18 to 25 and prefer cycling. There are only 4 such members. So we can clear the filters and get back to our original data. So this is how you will be able to create a simple pivot table. So sometimes if you don't want to create a very fancy dashboard, you can create a very simple looking table also. You can create the simple looking tables also. So this is what we do. Now once it is created, we will copy this table. Okay, so we will copy this table, control C, or press copy here and control V, because now these filters are applied on these tables. So if you actually select this filter, for example, you can see we have slicer settings, we have different type of options here which we can select. But if you select this table, so filter connections are also visible on this table. If you select this, because we have just copied it, filter connections will also be visible here. So that's why it is very important. If you don't want any filter to apply on a particular table, so you can uncheck that. So once you will copy, you don't have to check them again and again. That's the main point. Now here in this table, we will answer another simple question. That question is, what is average calorie burned by age group? Because average calories burned is kind of our main target field here. So if we just have to find average calories burned by age group, so we will get rid of other things. So we will just leave average calories burned and then we will select age group. So this is our simple answer, average calories burned by age group. As I said, this is also sufficient enough to answer the question and visualize data. But sometimes when we are doing with data visualization, we create some graphs. So we will select this and we will insert, and here best type of chart for this will be a column or bar chart. So we can select a bar chart, this bar chart. So you can see it is 100% stacked. This is a clustered. So because we only have one field here, we don't have any other categorical field or any other value, so we can select that. Now where to show, let's see the difference. What if we select calories burned and their workout duration? So if their workout duration sum is this much, their average calories burned is this. So we are comparing average, so we will keep average here. So we will select average. So now we have two data points here, two data fields here, average calories burned. So we have summarized by both. So if they're working out for 57 minutes, this is in minutes, then their average calories burned is 924. Okay, so you can see that relation here, and that depends upon age group also. So it's not like for every age group this will be same. So you can see they people of 36 to 50, they are actually, their average workout duration is more in this sample of members, and their average calorie burn is also more. So we can say that average calories burned and average workout duration have some correlation. Okay, which is evident here also, workout duration versus calories burned, which we will see here also. So now when we have this type of data, if we select, so now you will be able to see a clustered column or a stacked column. or a 100% stack column. Okay, so here we can select this type of graph. It is very simple to answer such questions. We can also go with a combo chart here, for example, because calories burned have a different unit and workout duration are in minutes. So we can go with a combo chart also. So let's see, this is a combo chart, I guess. Yes. So we can select a combo chart also like this. Here average workout duration will be shown with a line chart and average calories burned will be shown with a bar chart. So we can select this and we can now have different type of styles like this or like this. So whatever style you prefer, you can select that. What if we select this style? We can go with this one, and this way we can create our graph and this will be our answer, that this is average calorie burned and average workout duration by our age group of members. Now we will rename this shape table as pivot table, because here is all the pivot data that we will store, but we will bring or create another interactive dashboard here that we have done in previous parts also. Now this is our dashboard. We will select it and we can go to view and say we don't want grid lines here. Formula bar will be needed. Later we can zoom it. Now we can give it some kind of background. So we can go to home tab and we can select some kind of background like this. Let's go with this. Later we'll decide if it is looking good or not. Next is we have to add one heading. For heading we go to insert and from here we add a shape. I mostly prefer this rectangular curve shape for my headings. So I will go with this. If you have any other idea, you can go with that also. Here you can see width is 100%. So this is how it is going to look. So I have to give some area for filters also. So this area sidebar will be used for filters. Here I will insert or I will add the text. My text is fitness and health tracking exploratory dashboard. So this is what I have copied. Its font size, everything we can optimize. I will keep around 32. Okay, and alignment I can do center alignment or left alignment. You can do vertical and horizontal alignment also. So vertically center, horizontally right. Sorry. Now we have this. So this is something we can use, and now we can add some icons here if you want. You can add some icons here. So you can see we have this icon that I created. So I can add this icon also. So in Excel we can go to insert. We have a picture, this device. So let's select. So you can see I have these icons. So this is fitness and or this one, whatever you prefer, you can insert. So we can add this icon here. These icons were created with the help of Canva. So you can use Canva to create these icons, or you can download it from websites like Icon Finder, or you can generate them using some AI also. So I am just using center alignment and giving spaces by manual shift. So now this is my KPI. Here you can, obviously you have this shape, so you can format the shape. You have shape fill where you can select a particular color, so or a gradient, whatever is your choice. We have more fill colors. What if we go with this kind of dark color? I'm just trying something. Let I'll not spend too much time here, but this type of color can be used. So I actually have this color with me. So this color, font color is here. Just a minute. Yeah. Its code is this. So 4184. 489. This is the hexadecimal code. So you can copy those kind of hexadecimal codes also and fill in your shape. So here we have, and here we can add that hexadecimal code. Hit enter. Now it's okay for me. Now what I did in previous part was I added this image. This is basically an image where all the numbers are added, you know, via these cards. So let's try something here as well. I will go to insert pictures, this device. I created this image using Canva. So this is image of a wrist watch that is used for exercise, tracking and all. So here I am using this. Let's try whether it will work or not. Now we have this. So we have this image where we are going to add some numbers, and next is we will have to add a text box. So this is a text box which I am adding. Let me add it here. In this text box we have to show some number, okay, and this number we can bring dynamically from other sheet. Now this, how can we bring it dynamically? There are different ways. So for example, if I click equal to here and hit enter, it is going to say we have error. If I go and click here, so now you can see it is giving me a formula: get pivot data, average daily steps, pivot table A3. So this type of formula it is showing. Okay, what if I mention this formula here, like get pivot data? So you can see is missing range, etc. I will show this method later, but easy way is, I know that it is in C4 of pivot table. Okay, so I know that it is in C4 of pivot table, and we have to give reference also. It is not just we will copy from pivot data. So another easy way is, what if I write equal to pivot underscore table and exclamation C4. So you can see we have got that number. Okay, so this is something that you can do to get that data. Now this average daily steps has a lot of decimals. So what if we go to average daily steps settings here, and in these settings we have number format where we have custom. So what if we say 0.00, click OK. Okay, so now we have two decimal places. Same thing we do in average hours of sleep also, because having two decimal numbers is enough. So here also we can do that. Same here. So you can repeat it. So you can skip a little bit or just be with me. Custom. This way you can show a simple number here, and this also. Where there is an integer, we don't have any problem there, but having more than two decimal places is not required here. This will not always be the case, but at least here you have to use this. Now when you will go there, so now this number will dynamically start showing this, and now we can put that here. This is average daily steps. Okay, so you can either show it like that, or for this shape we also have shape fill. So either you can go with the same color that we have here, or what if we try no fill? So we will try no fill. Then we will select this, control A, go to home tab, and we will give it a text color like this, make it bold, and whatever height we can use properly. So if we are going with 12, let's see, so 12 pixel can be used. So this is showing that data. 13 or even 14 is visible, so that's good. So this way we can show that number, daily steps. This is shape. I think shape has a border also. So it has a shape outline, no outline. So now this number will be visible properly. In home tab, we can increase its size. Whatever is properly visible, what I go with 14.5. See, we have to do these things so that we can get the highest value. Okay, 14.1. Okay. So now we have that number. Similarly, now we will copy, and now you can do it easily for calories burned. For calories burned, we have B4. So we will just select this and replace it with B4. Styling will be gone. So you can click here, format painter, apply here. Okay. Similarly, we can copy one more time, paste it here. This is what workout duration. Workout duration is in E4. So this may be boring for you, so you can skip a little bit, but in a similar way we will keep doing it. Format painter, this, then we will select hours of sleep. Hours of sleep is D4. So we are going with D4. I should have made it in the same sequence. That's the mistake, but anyways. And members count is in A4, I guess. A4. So we will just do it. So this way our KPIs will be created with this image that we have. If any one of you wants this image, I will provide a link where you can get this image. Now we have this. Now we will go back to pivot table, copy our filters and paste them here. So these filters are important for us because these filters will have great effect on how we interact with this dashboard. So here you can see we have slicer selected and I am modifying the style. So you can right click here and modify slicer style. Where whole slicer has that background, I have changed that background. So for whole slicer, I go to format, more colors, and I have pasted that color that we had, this color code. So it made the whole slicer go like this with this background. Now if I click OK, then unselected item with data. If you format, so this is unselected item with data which is not selected. So for example, when the slicer will be selected, so this is unselected item with data. Okay. So unselected item will with data will have some color. So this way we can modify. So unselected item with data should have some color from our theme. So obviously we will these two will have that if we are not selecting them. So if I go with more colors, I have that color copied, and what I am doing is I am using some color from this, similar to this color itself. So we'll click OK and OK. So now we have unselected item with data and unselected item with no data and selected item with no data. These things will be there. So selected item with data, let's do this one at least. So this is important. So we will go to custom color. So this will have selected item with data, and let's say we want to select selected item with data has something like this. We have to spend some time here, but this is how it is going to be. And then for everything, like if you are selecting a light font, light background, then font color should be dark, and if you are selecting dark background, font color should be light. So now let's see. So here is the slicer. If we select this item, so now you can see other items how they are. So we can click here, and this way we can create our filters. And this is header, we can modify. It takes some time. Like this is header where we have format. So let's say in header, the font is Calibri, font is style, everything is given, and border is given, fill is given. So you can choose everything. Color, it says automatic. What if I select this color for font? We click OK. So now we have this filter. It will take us some time to get hold of it, but we can, this is how we can actually design our slicers. So this is something that you can do as well. And whatever you are selecting, based on your selection, you can change the font colors also. So let me try that one final time. So selected item with data format, if I select its color like this, so this is not showing, at least here it is good. So I actually did it for unselected item with data, and now at least this is good for me. I am able to understand it properly. We can clear it. And for your headers, I am spending more time here because some students actually requested this. So for our headers, let's say size is 14, so we can increase that size here. Okay. So if you are happy with this, you can anytime, you can obviously modify it for other filters also. What if I go with just 12 pixel? Will that be okay for me? So yeah, you can select for that also. So once you are satisfied with this, you can now select another slicer and you can select the style, same style that you have created. So you will be easily able to do that, and we can actually increase their height, and now they will appear as per theme. Obviously I can spend more time here and use more colors properly, but at least how you can do that. So this is something that we can do. Anything that you have here, for example, even borders, everything can be formatted here. Okay, towards unselected item with data, and you can set this as slicer style for this document also. So this is something you can do as well. So now we have this, and after having this, we can now go back to our reports where we have this data. We can copy this which we created, and now we can one by one bring our reports here. So we can bring this report here and we can just place it below. So let's say in one row we will keep 2 or 3 reports. So if you want to keep 3 reports, you can make this width, you know. So this width will be sufficient to keep 3 reports in one row. So let's do that. So now we have this data. Here also you have different settings once you have selected that. So like even if you have selected that, you can select different colors, or you can right click here and you can fill something like this. So we can fill same kind of color here so that it looks something from the same theme. And here we can right click, and pivot chart options are there where you can see merge and center cells, data, every setting is there which we have explained in another part. What I want to do is format chart area. Here you have fill, you have border, so you can select some border color. I'm just going to give rounded corners, that's it. That is what I want to give it here. Next is we have these colors here. So for example, I want to use different colors for these charts. So we can click on these bars and we can use fill color. So what if we select this one? Okay, so you can select colors like this as well. Or if I want this color, so I created a snapshot of this, brought it in paint. I'm using just my ways. So now we have this color. Its color code is this. So if you want this color in your charts, you can copy these colors. Having knowledge of these simple hexadecimal colors and how to bring that will be good for you. So these are recent colors or more fill colors. We can go with custom. and we can enter this, click OK. So this way we have the same color. So now this particular chart is showing average calories burned and workout by age group. Next we will create another pivot table and copy it. Here we have to bring another categorical field, the average calories burned and workout duration by, let's say, gender. So in our case you can see the numbers here, and when we are showing it by gender, so we can again go to insert and we can select a pie chart. So here it will show only one data because we are not selecting a combo chart. So obviously for that we don't have to show workout duration as well. And now we will simply select the same format that we have, and here we will give the same fill color. And for these different slices, if you want to select some color, so you can right click and go to fill, and we can actually give it some color like we already did. For example, we use this color, orange we can keep because it is used in another chart also. So here I am going to paste this. There are so many options, I will close them and make sure its height and width is same as previous chart that we have here, because we want to fit three of them here. So we can select this and increase its width. We have total written here, so you can write what this chart is representing. So average calories burn by gender, this is something we can write here. So we can also adjust its position, and here also one final thing, format chart area, border rounded corner, because everything else is also in rounded corner. So now we have average calories burned by gender. Then we have, because average calories burn is our target field for this part, so we will select that. From here you can delete them because they are not needed, but we will keep them. Later we can decide what we have to do. Copy it once again, paste it one more time, and here now you can see your pivot table options are gone. So you can go to pivot table, analyze field list. This will again show them, and here we will do it by diet preference. So people who are having keto diet, or what type of diet results in what level of calories burn. We can see in vegetarian they are doing more average calories burn. Now we can insert, and here we can select, obviously bar chart and pie chart will be preferred chart for them. We can click on it, but it will not be available for pivot table. So we have to select this data and paste it separately. So some charts are not available for pivot table data, so for them we will use different settings. Here we have pivot chart setting, so whatever pivot chart, and it is showing preview also, so we can select something from it. Funnel will not be visible. Combo, clustered combo line is visible, but for that we need to select two charts. So available options are column charts and bar charts. So we will go with bar charts here because we have this option, and we can go with 3D bars also if needed. So this way you can actually see which charts are actually available for pivot tables. We will create this, go to settings, do it like that. We will again go to fill color, where this is the fill color I guess which we have used for other charts. Click on bar. For bar fill we will need this color as we have done, and this particular chart is showing diet preference wise calories burn or burned. Here also we will right click, format chart area, again repetitive stuff, rounded corners. Now chart is created. I will cut from here, dashboard, paste, close other options, try to adjust height and width. So we have this. We can place this above. So now we can actually click and increase its height a little bit. So this way we have this data. We can adjust their width and height so that they are of equal shape, size, etc. So we can click here and increase that. So we have now our first data which has our first row which has these options where we have compared numerical values. We have seen use of combo chart. We have seen what type of charts will be available on what kind of data or for pivot chart in particular. So similarly, I have created another chart where we are showing row labels, average calories burned. So in row labels, we are showing activity basically. So we can say average or calories burned by activity. Font size that we are using for others is 14 pixels. And this way we can create a chart. Our chart options. Here we have just selected a 3D data, like 3D kind of chart. We have rounded corners, so we will just adjust it width and height, copy and paste. So this will show us calories burned by activity. So here what we have done is the color that we have selected. So one is your background color, etc. One is your palette color. In palette color, you can either go with colorful, like multiple colors, like this, or you can go with monochromatic also. Monochromatic, as you can see, from a dark shade to a light shade. So in monochromatic, you can select this kind of color scheme. So value with dark shade like this, where value which has highest value of average calorie burn, activity which has highest value for average calories burned will have a darker shade, and then one with lighter will have this, and this is how it is arranged also. So from legends you can see that, as you can see here. So I'm just giving it different type of colors which you can adjust it as per your requirement. So now we have another graph here. So here you can see a scatter plot. This scatter plot is dynamic. You can see when I will click cycling, running, walking, this is dynamic. Now, but when we go to insert and pivot data or some pivot chart, so let's say I have selected this and I want to insert a pivot chart. If I go to scatter plot, I told you earlier also that by default it will not create this chart type with data inside pivot table. So how have we done that? So I will keep this chart on one side. A simple trick for this will be, follow the trick. You have to insert an empty scatter plot somewhere. So just enter an empty scatter plot somewhere. You can see it's empty. Now we have created a pivot table. So this pivot table, we have simply copied this pivot table and we have created this one. And here what we have done is, in rows we have used calorie burn, and in values we have used average of workout. So we want to see relation between calories burned and workout. Like if average workout duration is 3, what is calories burned? If average workout duration is 8, what is calories burned? So we have to do that. So that's why we have just changed pivot table fields. Earlier we were adding all values. Here we have added x-axis in rows and y-axis in values. You can do vice versa also. Now here in your empty scatter plot, right click and select data. So when we are selecting data, if we select a dynamic data, then by logic it will, filters will apply on it and we can use any chart. Now when you will click add here, here you have to select a range. So when you are selecting a range, let's say I am just selecting this one. So I selected. What you need to do is, we are selecting from A38 to 850, but in actual this data is from A38 to A387. So I have written that there. So I am selecting from 38 to 50 just for understanding. So we have selected that. Okay. Similarly for y values we will select again, and here we are selecting, and here also we will select up to A50. Now we have equal values. If you will click OK, you will come here that this is series 1. You can name your series also, something like uh, calories versus workout, and once you will do that you will see chart. In this chart we are only having 12 values here, but here we have all the values. So this is how I have created this. So now I can get rid of this chart. This is my actual chart, and let me show you its select data. So let me edit. So here you can see from 38 to 357 for B. So you can select that for x-axis. So x-axis values are workout and y-axis values are calories burned, because we want to see effect of workout on calories burned. This is what you can do, and this is how you can create a scatter chart from a pivot table, which is basically not allowed directly, because when we will select this pivot table we cannot insert a scatter plot directly. So this is how you can do that. Now once we have done that, we can click on it and we can use fill color, which we have done. So one of the recent fill colors, and here chart title and everything. For example, here we will go to font and use font color as this, so that this font color is visible, and this particular chart is showing workout duration, workout duration versus, so this is workout duration versus calories burned. Now we have this axis. Here also we can select some font color and click OK. And for or X axis also we can select a font color, light color, and now it's okay. And now for these scatter points, let's use fill and use some color which we use for our theme. So now you can see workout versus calorie. And finally I want to apply rounded corners here. Now we have the data, we can copy and put it in our dashboard. Let me arrange it properly, and now we can arrange it. So this way we can create a simple chart which is representing or showing us that if you will do more workout, you can see a trend here that it is going upwards. This trend basically is giving us an indication that when you will click, when you will do that, so you will be able, basically you will burn more calories. Obviously this trend is not perfectly linear, but these scatter points are indicating that we have some correlation between workout duration and calories burned. Similarly, as we have done that, in a similar way we have to create another table. So we will copy this. Obviously I will come down, because we have 350 points, so we have to use that much space. Now here also here we have to find out between calories burned and maybe daily steps or hours of sleep. So what I have done here is workout duration versus calories burned, daily steps versus calories burned. In Power BI also we can create a scatter plot on the same logic. So here what we will do, instead of activity type we will add it number of steps taken, so daily steps on rows. Then also I will have same data, like obviously everything you can see here, and this is starts from 394 to 740. So I will try to copy this chart and paste it for this. Let me select data, edit. So instead of 38, what if we do 394? So I sometimes editing there directly is weird. So here this is the actual data. So for A series we will do A 394 to end number 740. So we will add that, sorry, 740, A 394 to 740, and here also we will make a copy of it, and instead of a formula like we are dynamically selecting, so we I have another chapter of selection, particularly like how we are using these tables, because this is sheet name. In this sheet name we are selecting column range dynamically, so you can follow that. Now what if I copy this, and here I get rid of everything and just paste, and what if I copy this and select everything and paste, and series name we can say something like this is steps versus calories. Let's try if it will work. So now we'll click OK, and now we have this data here. Actually it was, I don't know why it was showing that. So here actually we have data. Let me confirm 394, yeah, this is the data. So now we have this data with us, and now it will work according to filters. We'll copy this and paste. Here also you can see that when someone is taking n number of steps, so their calories burn is also likely to increase. So you can see a step range which starts from somewhere this point, which is 209 or something, and higher values are somewhere close to 2000 of calories, and in case of steps it is close to 20,000. So let me check one more thing here. So here basically on row labels we we have actually selected this, right? So this is x value, for on y we have calories burned, so we just have to swap them. So here we have to use a instead of b, b instead of a. So let me do that. So here it will be all a's, and here it will be all b's, because we are doing x versus y, not y versus x. And now it's fine. So now it is very much close to how it is appearing here. That's why I was not sure. And here we will simply write steps versus calories burned. We can make it bold also so that it's properly visible. We can copy this and paste it in our dashboard, and I'll change the colors everything later. Let me arrange it properly. In Power BI we have some guidelines to help us. Here we have to use more of our like andaza, what we call. Here we'll use the same fill color as this. Let me select this and make it bold as well. So we have now our charts. Let me shift it here. Wherever is possible. So at least we can put these headings so that we can understand what is happening here. So now we have a simple chart. Let's use some more space and height here so that it properly fits these widths, so that we are covering more and more space here. It's okay. So this is our chart, and if I click non-vegetarian, so now you can see for people who have non-vegetarian diet preference, what is average daily steps they are taking. For male non-vegetarian, between 36 for running. So obviously more filters you will apply, you're likely to have more blank data. And this is the default data. So if I select 36 to 50, you can see that's clear. Vegan, here is the data. Male, here is the data. So this way you can create a simple dashboard, and now we can actually reduce this height and use 100% here, and we can also click here auto hide ribbon. Formula bar is visible, so if you want you can disable formula bar also. So for example, here we have show tabs, auto hide ribbon, everything. So if I show tabs, and now in view I disable formula bar, heading, everything is now disabled. So now I have my dashboard. Let me increase size a little bit. So now I have this dashboard with me, which I can use for analysis. So this is a simple Excel dashboard tutorial for fitness and health tracking exploratory data analysis, which you can use in your projects. You can use something similar in other projects as well. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please feel free to give us your valued suggestions. Feel free to ask your questions in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer them. And if you have any other project in your mind that you want to create, you can discuss with us as well, whether it's on Power BI, whether it's on Excel, whether it's on Tableau or Python or any other tool. We would be happy to look into that. Thanks once again. Have a nice day.